Hi, and welcome to another episode of Changing Habits, Changing Lives. My name is Azzy Aslam. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Changing Habits, Changing Lives. My name is Azzy Aslam, and today I want to look at journaling. It's talked about quite often. You'll see it around on a whole bunch of social media websites and in productivity books, self-help books, where journaling is seen as a part of helping you become the person you want to be. I came across journaling many years ago. At first, I wasn't really quite sure what it was, because people used to do sort of diary events as well. So basically, you sit down and you write down what you did that particular day. But journaling is a little bit different, as I found out over time. So I want to look at what is journaling, some of the things it can help you do, perhaps even look at some of the things it may not be the best for, and to see how you can incorporate it as part of your day, your week, your month, your life, really, if you want to, and how it can help you in ways that perhaps you haven't considered so far. So to begin with, let's take a look at what exactly is journaling. Now, journaling is a way of capturing your thoughts. That's the way I look at it. It's a moment in the day, and it doesn't have to be each day. It can be every other day, once a week, really whatever works for you. Ideally, on a daily basis, I think is best, is where you sit down and you capture your thoughts. So what are you thinking that day? What are the thoughts that you've had that day? Now, unlike diarying, where you sit down and write down what you did in the day, so you just diary what you did. So, you went to work, you didn't go to work, you had maybe some challenges getting to work because of traffic, some family things, etc. Journaling is a little bit more than just the diary event of the day. It's really looking at your thoughts, what's going through your mind. And it can use what happened during the day, because that will affect what goes through your mind, but it's capturing what actually is in your mind at that point in time, or the thoughts and ideas that spring from your day, your activity, the day that you've had. And it's not intended to be a structured approach, although you can make it structured. You can say, start in the morning and work your way through to the evening of what you actually did. It's best, I think, in a free flow format. So whatever's coming to your mind, you write down. Whatever are the thoughts that are coming up, you write down. The good thing about that is you can then journal at any time of the day. So some people journal first thing in the morning. As soon as they get up, they'll go grab a cup of coffee, go through their morning routine, sit down and do some journaling. And in that journaling, they may also write about the things that they're grateful for each day. And if you use a free format approach, you can then journal any time of the day, whenever is convenient, whenever it feels right. So in the morning, midday, mid-afternoon, maybe in the afternoon as you sit down with a cup of coffee, cup of tea, just 5-10 minutes, just journal what is going on, what are the thoughts in your mind. And you can also do it in the evening as well, at the end of the day, when you perhaps just having a bit of reflection on how your day has gone, what are things that have happened, and what are the thoughts that you have. The beauty about journaling also is you don't have to restrict it just to as a one-off activity. So you don't have to do it in the morning or the evening or the afternoon. You can journal all through the day. So whenever you have a few minutes and you want to just get your thoughts out, put them on a piece of paper, or if you want to use a PC, an app or whatever, then just sit down and write whatever's happening, whatever's going through your mind at that point. And you can build up through the day a good volume of journals, rather than just having one point in the day that you sit down to do that piece of journaling. So what does journaling actually do for you? I've already mentioned a couple of times that it helps to clear your head, gets the thoughts out of your head. And journaling is really useful for this, particularly if you have a lot of thoughts going on in your head. And the thoughts can be anything from challenges that you're facing, difficulties, ideas. You may even be thinking some things to do, which are good and positive, but they're all in your head. And the problem I see when people have lots of thoughts in their head is this can actually lead to overwhelm. Overwhelm is, usually comes from a lot of thoughts in the mind. A lot of positive thoughts and, more importantly, a lot of negative thoughts. And people just become overwhelmed and don't know what to do, where to begin, where to start, how to proceed, etc. And what journaling does is it allows you a space, a place in time. And if you're like me, you like writing in a notebook with a pen or a pencil, and it allows you a place to document all of these thoughts and get them out of your head. Because when they are in your head, they will keep circling around. They'll keep coming up. Something will happen and the thoughts will appear again. And journaling is a good way of getting some of these thoughts out of your head onto a piece of paper. So now you know that, yes, you've captured this thought, you're aware of it, and you can go back to it later rather than just being something that's washing around in your mind and then being part of hundreds, if not thousands, of other thoughts that will happen during the day. And I've mentioned this once before. The American Science Institute did a study and said that we have around about 70,000 thoughts each day. And about 95% of those are repeat thoughts, so thoughts that we've already had. Only about 5% are new. So journaling is a great way of capturing some of these thoughts and getting them out of your head, because the mind is really there the brain, should I say, is really there to think of solving some of these challenges that you have. And what thoughts do, random thoughts that come and go, and particularly negative thoughts, is it clutter that processing power that we have in our head, within our brains, and it detracts from actually finding a solution. All it does is just keeps rolling the same thought around over and over again. So getting those thoughts out onto a piece of paper, in a book, in an app, on your PC, whatever it is, it's a good way to give your brain a little bit of space, or a little bit more space, to sit down and think of how you're going to tackle some of these challenges, some of these thoughts, some of these ideas that keep coming up. And when you have these thoughts, it becomes difficult to see the wood for the trees sometimes. And because all you see is just the thoughts, and you can't see a clear path as to what you're going to do, what are the options, what are the ways you will address, tackle, solve whatever the thoughts are presenting, what are the challenges, the thoughts that are presenting in your mind. And getting them out gives you a clear way to at least clear your head, and we'll come back to how you deal with all the things that you've put down in your app, on your PC, on a piece of paper, in a notebook. The other good thing about journaling as well is it helps you to not only to capture your thoughts, but also ideas, the thoughts that are ideas. You will have, ideas coming up all the time, whether it's for you, your family, your home, your work, your business, your career, all sorts of things. And it's a great way of capturing those ideas. It's, far too often we have ideas and then they just dissipate into the background, and we never really sort of take any action on the ideas that have come up. And this is another great way of, journaling is another great way of capturing those ideas. Put them down so they are there somewhere written down, which you can go back to. Now, journaling is not the only way of capturing ideas. You can also just have a small notepad and pen next to you, or a voice recorder or something that when you have an idea, you capture it, which is great. And it's a good thing to then take those captured notes and voice notes and put them into your journal as well, so they're together with other thoughts and ideas that you have had during the day or the previous day or last week, or even the month before. Because you just never know when you are thinking of something new, thinking of a new idea. You just never know when a new idea is going to actually kick off some other idea or some other thought or a mechanism how you can make that idea become real. Make it become reality. Turn it into something that you can do, want to support, and go after. So just to summarize so far around journaling, it's a way of capturing ideas, getting your thoughts out onto a different medium. Again, be paper, on an app, on your PC, whatever works for you. But get it out of your head. Give your head a bit of space, or your brain a bit of space, to do some real thinking rather than just being cluttered up with thoughts. So once you've actually captured your thoughts and ideas and you've got them out of your head, it's a good strategy to then create some routine and habit of reviewing what you've written. Now, you can do that on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, even on a monthly basis, although a month may be a little bit too much to go through. But certainly, if you sit down once a week and just go through everything that you've written that previous week and look at some of the trends that you are seeing, and you'll see certain trends in the way you're thinking, certain thoughts, particularly on the negative thoughts. Or what are the negative thoughts? What's the kind of trend that you're seeing? Are they becoming more anxious? Are they becoming less anxious? You'll find a trend when you look through your previous journaling notes and then see what you need to do to tackle that. And the same thing applies with ideas. You'll see some ideas that have cropped up on a regular basis or have a similar theme. And you may be able to pool those ideas to come up with one single idea which tackles the bulk of the ideas that you've come up with and give you something to build. Whether it's a career, a new business idea, some implementations to help you do things better, smarter, more effectively at work, at home, in yourself. It's a good habit and a routine, therefore, to put in place that you review what you've written down over a period of at least a week, and then extract out of those the trends that you see and the ideas that you see that you think, you know what, I need to do something about this, and I will do something about this, and I am going to do something about this. And then you can crystallize those, and because your head's clear, because you've been dumping your thoughts on in your journal, you can then look at those ideas, those trends, those collection of thoughts, and get them and give time to thinking how you're going to tackle those. Another area where journaling, I believe, can be really useful, and I mentioned this earlier on in the podcast, which was around gratitude and gratefulness. It is a place where you can write down all the good things that are happening and that you have with you, around you, at home, at work, with relationships, with friends and family, and remember those, because we're too easily caught up with all the negative stuff, all the things that are challenging us, that perhaps aren't going our way. As I said earlier on, 95% of our thoughts are repetitive thoughts, and a good portion of those repetitive thoughts, those 95%, I believe something like about 85% of those thoughts are actually negative. So to capture things which are good and positive and we're grateful for that we have, whether it's the food on our table, clothes on our backs, our family, children, parents, siblings, friends, work, it is a way to look at those things as well and come back to reality and saying, I have all these things and I am in a place where I can do something to change, yourself, your situation, or the situation of others, to help other people as well. So another area where you can focus with your journaling and make it part of your daily routine or schedule as part of your journaling, which is to look at all the good stuff you have. So have that time in your journaling for the gratitude, because the more often you do that, the more that those thoughts and positive thoughts will come to mind. And once again, if you can clear those out of your head as well and put them on a piece of paper, they will also give space and capacity within our brains and our minds to do the thinking we need to think, that we need to do around the challenges that we want to go out and face and tackle. So those are a number of ways of journaling, of how to do journaling, and some of the ways it can work for you. I've used journaling on and off over the years. I think the longest stretch I did in journaling was a couple of years, and I used to travel to do some work for a company, and it was a fairly long travel, and I used to travel by public transport on the underground, overground in London. And I would sit there and on my my phone, I had a Word app, and I would just sit down and spend about 20 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes, just getting my thoughts out into this app. And as I recall reviewing some of my thoughts and some of the days of journey that I'd done, I did find this trend. There was trends of thoughts, the good thoughts, the negative thoughts, the challenges that I was facing, the things I wanted to do. And I was starting to get a trend and some consistency in what was going on in my mind, and also give me some consistency of what I wanted to do. And with this particular role, I wasn't particularly happy with it, because it was an early start and there's all this travel and all these things. And that was having an effect on me. And capturing those thoughts, I started to realize, I need to do something about this. So, yes, sometimes it's just a feeling and it's just thoughts in our heads, but we don't do something about it. But when you see it written down on a piece of paper or in an app and you're reviewing it and you see it over and over again, it then gives you the information and the evidence that something needs to be done. And that's what it did for me. And I hope that if you do take up journaling, you do try it, give it a go. And like all habits and all routines, you've got to do this consistently over a period of time. So it's not something you do once or twice and then leave it, but get some sort of routine, whether it's once a week, twice a week, or once every day. Gets into some routine where you're going to sit down, do some writing, capture your thoughts, and then also have a routine where you're going to sit down and review those thoughts, all your writings that you have. And then do something about it. Do something about it. Create some plans. Create some habits to tackle the things that keep coming up in your journal. And that's it, really. That's it's a sort of a shorter podcast today, but it's something I wanted to bring up because we're coming to the end of another year and a new year beckons. So it's another tool set that people can use, which I believe it can be helpful. Well, it is helpful. It is helpful. It's once again, you got to put the time and effort into this. Get into a routine, get into habit of putting the time and effort, writing your thoughts out, find the best time it works for you to do that, and keep doing it. And you'll be surprised with what you come out with. There's so much going on in our heads and in our minds that we ignore what our body and our mind, our experiences is actually telling us. And getting this stuff out onto a piece of paper is really, really useful. And with that, I hope this has been useful for you. If you have any thoughts, comments, please do pop them in the comments below. If you have any ideas for other podcasts that you want to hear about, again, pop them in the comments, and I'll use them in my list of things I want to do podcasts on. As always, if there is anything I can help people with, please do get in touch. I do coach people, and with the new year around the corner, if you're looking to make the new year useful, positive, and get you to where you want to do, get in touch and we can talk about how coaching can help you. And I really focus around the habits and routines that we do. So I do coaching around habits and routines because that is what's going to get you through each day, even on the days that you don't feel like doing what you really want to do. Hope this has been useful once again. Have a great day, great week, great life. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye now.